feel like the idea too is to keep him down to only a few weapons, not let him get all his weapons. Which it sounds like you're supposed to perfect block things to make him drop his weapons, but he never dropped any of them. Bring Dispel. Step 1, bring Dispel. On the thing to get better. Perfect blocks.
It's your turn.
Wasn't kidding. Aha, I got him to drop something. It wasn't from a perfect block, so I'm not really sure what I did, but
Can you take over for me?
still have bravery. Just gonna go ahead and do that because I don't have much ATB anyways.
One more shot. Come on, team. Strike for you. Keep up the pressure.
Keep it together.
It's your turn.
It's on you.
So it's my turn? I don't think so.
Okay.
You're gonna feel this one. You can do it.
Take it over.
Tifa needs MP. I should have blocked that. Hey.
I'm coming. Why don't you leave it?
all the time. Let's switch it up.
Ah, I can't.
The sword of which legend tells, Excalibur! By your holy blade shall your lives be ended.
Oh, that was so sick. I didn't even get the hit though.
This is not my Excalibur! This is what Excalibur!
We're just standing there.
No matter, for I am the bladesman of legend! So come, and I shall make proof of the truth of my title!
So it's my turn? This might be better. One more. This one's for you. Okay?
Nice. Oh,
It's your turn.
get me protected. I'm gonna do a little bit of this.
Let me...
I'm gonna do a little bit of this. We're gonna do a little bit of this. We're gonna do it this way so it doesn't cancel this time.
One more shot.
I got this. Don't stop now.
Now we're talking. And we pressured him right afterwards. And why not? Give him a little bit of that too. That gives Cloud plenty of time to do so. Like a double focus thrust. And we may have just staggered him twice in a row. Except Cloud got owned. If you can pressure him right after a stagger, you can use a synergy ability to keep him still and just stagger him again.
Master this martial art.
Give everybody Ronald.
You can do it.
Take it away.
We're gonna wait. Do that. Give Eris haste.
I'll take care of them. You got
That's not good.
I will sever all your limbs.
That's really not good.
Take it over.
Uh-oh. I didn't realize I didn't have enough. Please, I need an ATB, please. Oh god.
I got this.
What? Where's my... Thank you.
We've got to get through this.
Can you get off an explosion in time?
This one's for you. Back to good news.
Nice.
Don't overdo it.
All set.
Should survive. And then I have a healing wind ready. Funny that healing wind kind of has the same purpose as it does in OG, where I can heal for free, you know, when I need it. It doesn't interrupt, but it does make her immune. Or I could planet protection. Yeah, screw it, I'm doing that. Actually, it's time for a little bit of this.
I'll show you what I can do. That's it.
Gotta get rid of that shield.
I'll take care of them.
I don't know how much this would do to the shield. I don't want to just summon, but
It's on you.
I don't think I can get rid of that now.
Let's move.
This is awkward.
Let's do this.
All set. I'll show you what I can do.
Taking over.
No, I can't get rid of any of his weapons. Also because he keeps doing that. I can't hit him. That ward thing.
Here he comes. This one's for you.
Take the lead.
Let me.
Okay.
Hang back.
You win.
I don't know how to pressure him here. Wow, that combo though. Yeah, I just limited him. You gotta block his moves that can be blocked. You know what? I think we're just gonna do that.
I'll show you what I can do. Someone looks like
Yep,
they should.
that was the play, for sure. Yep, that was the play. And then dive kick spam. Yeah, just use a limit. Like, limits are so important to like get through the pressure. Don't wait for staggers.
You are a most formidable foe. This realm's bladesman of legend.
Bladesman of legend, huh? Thanks, but I don't deserve the title. Not yet.
Did my music setting get reset again?
Defeated your rival, I presume. Then your claim to my treasures is forfeit. You must best this rival of yours if you are to prove yourself worthy. And when you have, you will face me again.
It'll cost you.
2,000.
Well, more of your ilk await me in worlds beyond. It is time I saw to their undoing.
You, forget the way back?
One as well traveled as I forget? Never! Countless are the realms which I have explored. Crossing the void is but a trifle. Perhaps Here. The loathsome whelp.
Utilizing the data I've acquired, I can extrapolate points of convergence. By which I mean rifts in space-time.
What filthometergy is this? What?
Temporal rift located. Look, there it is.
Aha! And now to leave it open. I am in your debt, well.
Just as I was indebted to you for the data you provided. Now we're even.
It's time I took my leave of you and your world. May we meet again upon the field of battle. Should the fates allow, I shall pray for it. Oh, valiant souls, I bid you good health, good fortune, and goodbye. Prepare yourselves, warriors of light.
Quite a character, isn't he?
That's one way of putting it.
Next order of business. I was able to obtain a vast amount of interdimensional data, which I have put to very good use. For example, summoning materia. Gilgamesh will surely prove to be both an effective and amusing ally.
Oh yeah.
I've also created new transmuter chips based on proto-relic data. With them, you'll be able to craft functional replicas of each piece of the legendary Genji armor. And so, this marks the end of our quest for the proto-relics. Nevertheless, our journey is far from over. The world is still teeming with secrets. I trust you're as eager to continue as I am, Cloud.
What an awesome reward too to like bring into hard mode, right?
Yourself, Chadley.
It's awesome, dude. What an awesome quest. Awesome battle, awesome like build up to the battle, funny throughout the whole thing. You get a real reward that you can use for something that you actually want to use it for. Awesome theme. Chadley has added brutal and legendary challenges to the combat simulator. Conquer the legendary trials to unlock battles in which you fight alongside Sephiroth and Zack, as well as their respective training courses. Note that both brutal and legendary fights are automatically set to hard difficulty regardless of your current settings. That's weird, because I thought it said that when we beat the game as well. But I don't think it said brutal and legendary. I think it just said fights with Sephiroth and Zack. Maybe it just said, like, keep playing and you'll find that. So apparently you have to do this to even unlock that. That's cool. Also, I love that it's automatically set to hard for those specific things. So I don't even have to say we're doing it on hard, like it is just on hard. Awesome. And now I have something to look forward to after hard mode. Now hard mode has like a specific objective. Go through hard mode and get even stronger so you can beat those. Man, I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see what this says. Wields a collection of weapons to deal damage with repeated flamboyant attacks. Ultimate attack, ultimate illusion, massive amount of non-elemental, size medium. Requires 2 ATB, and it's already max level. Wait. Oh, they do give you, does give you a stat buff. I didn't even realize. Gives you some HP. Well, actually, that's against Bahamut. Hold up. Gives you some HP, some MP, some stats. Pretty much the biggest stat buff. These aren't really like super big or important, but they're there. Nice. All right, well, let's at least. Oh, Chadley's just chilling here now.
What a beautiful thing it is. I only wish that I had been afforded the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I gotta check out the armor too. I just wanted to look at these. Are they just always here? I don't even have to unlock them. Level 70. Not even close to that. Oh man, there's some like solo stuff too. Oh man, this seems awesome. Cannot wait to do all this. Let's check out the armor. And what we need to make it, too. First of all, we gotta be craftsmanship level 16. Oh, I can't even see what I need yet. Breaks damage limit. Oh, no. They did it. They gave us break damage limit. That's gonna be huge. That's huge. That changes a lot. Because a lot of like the way Remake worked was kind of based on the fact you can only do max. That's gonna change a lot of the meta of what's good. This raises Tifa's stock price by quite a bit. Because the thing with Tifa, especially in Remake, was like, as you got to like super post-game, you know, crazy stuff, the stagger percentage meant less and less because you were just hitting max on regular stagger with stuff like Infinity's End. So this really changes the game. I feel like, I mean, depending on, I'm guessing breaks damage limit means we're going all the way up to double nines, right? So like, that would mean True Strike Infinity's End might actually be a meta. Because Infinity's End is like probably still the most damaging thing, and if we can actually break damage limit, it's actually going to be good now. Wow, this is crazy. This changes a lot. This changes a lot. Increases damage dealt by 15%, but also increases damage taken by 15%. So good for hitless stuff. Reduces damage taken by 15%, but also reduces damage dealt. Is that it? Those three? Dang, man. That's so wild. Like, I'm just thinking about all the possibilities now. Like, I was hoping the meta would be different because, you know, a lot of the stuff in this game is still the same stuff in Remake. You know, Aga spells with a ward, spamming True Strike, spamming ATB ward, spamming Arcane ward, even like some of the Yuffie stuff. So like, I was hoping that something would shift the meta, because otherwise it's just going to be Remake again post game. I mean, not like exactly. There's definitely some new stuff, but you know, I was just thinking like, once we get up to those super high levels, is it just going to be spamming Tifa, spamming Aerith again, or like how are we going to switch stuff up? This switches it up so much, because now, like I said, stagger percent matters so much more now. Stuff like Arcane Ward doesn't matter as much anymore, because before you would throw an Aga spell for max and then throw another Aga spell for almost max, and that was so much more damage than doing like an Infinity's End and just hitting max. As well as the actual physical stagger it caused the enemy, and the fact that you could have 3 people sitting on it and getting all those hits. Now all those hits don't matter as much if you can hit a 70k Infinity's End, you know? So, yeah, like this changes everything. Wow. I am excited to see where that goes. Not to mention stuff like Yuffie's move is already hitting 9s. Like when it's not even, I mean, like weakness, yeah, but not even fully at full strength. It's already hitting 9s. Some of Aerith's spells are slinging for 9s already. So yeah, and this is going to change hard mode a lot, because the thing about hard mode was like once you were hitting max damage, you kind of hit a top, like a ceiling where hard was just as hard as it was ever going to be. You couldn't really like one-shot bosses on hard, unless you really had like a crazy setup. But here, like if you're strong enough, I could definitely see you just going around one-shot and stuff for at least the beginning of hard. So yeah, man, this changes a lot. Wow. All right. Well, I am very much looking forward to
seeing what new discoveries you make in your travels.
There, Chadley said it best. I'm very much looking forward to getting into all of this stuff, getting into hard mode, getting into the Chadley extra stuff. Before we do all that, we just gotta actually finish up everything else. Do all the side missions and all that stuff, so... but I think this is a great place to end the official Let's Play. Like I said, we're going to be streaming this every day and continuing to finish everything up, and then get into hard mode, and then get into post-game, and then get into challenge stuff. Any highlights, any crazy stuff that happens, any post-game stuff, any challenge stuff, like hitless stuff, no materia stuff, all that will be on YouTube as highlight videos, so you won't miss any of that. No, I'm not doing anything off stream. Oh, no, nothing off stream. Yeah, so YouTube you won't miss out on any of the like exciting stuff, but this will be the end of the Let's Play. Now here's the other thing. I'm hoping that hard mode is, and from what I've heard, it's very specifically, or sorry, I can't English. It's been a long day. I've heard that hard mode is like Remake, where a lot of the mechanics and stuff are different. So I do kind of want to have like a playthrough of hard recorded. So I'm thinking about potentially, I think we did this for Rebirth or Remake also, have a hard playthrough on the Patreon. That won't be like a Let's Play format at all. It'll just be the VODs uploaded to Patreon. For those of you that don't know, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/48 productions. It's not 4-8 like it should be. It's just 48 productions. The links are down below in the description. I have the Patreon set up so you can pay whatever you want. It is only $1 a month to get all of the videos. I don't gate any of them behind certain prices. It's just $1 a month and you get everything. So if you're interested in seeing the hard playthrough, you can check that out. Also be aware that the VODs will be free on Twitch for like 3 months before they get removed. So if you don't want to pay and you're watching this as it's coming out, you could just watch the Twitch VODs for free. Or you can check out the Patreon and support. It's totally up to you. I understand people are in different money situations. So, but do check out the Patreon if you're interested. Like I said, it's any amount you want to pay, even down to $1, you still unlock everything. And I may just plop like the VODs of the hard playthrough of Rebirth on there. But any of the highlights of, like, if we do one of the hard bosses with no materia, or do one of the hard Chadley things as like a challenge run, that stuff will still be on YouTube, so don't worry, you won't miss that. But if you're interested in just seeing me play through hard mode, I'll probably plop that on the Patreon. So with that, that's going to be the end of the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Let's Play. I will have an official review of the game at some point down the road, but just to kind of give my final thoughts, just having played it without it, sitting for a bit. What do you mean no final? What do you mean no more Final Fantasy for a while? Why do we always say it? Why do we always have to say stuff that's like incorrect in the chat, and then I have to now I have to stop and say it? I know you're memeing, but like I don't want misinformation right on the end of the playthrough. Oh my god. Alright, forget it. I'll ignore you. So anyways, my final thoughts on Final Fantasy. So on this. So truly, I mean, this was an amazing experience playing through it. I mean, it gave me the feelings of Remake again, playing with you guys and experiencing all the moments. And there were a lot of moments that gave me the same feeling of playing through Remake. That when we saw the Test Zero for the first time, when we saw the Dying section for the first time, when we saw the Gold Saucer for the first time, those are definitely moments I'm going to remember for a really long time. So in terms of like being a remake and making me feel like a kid again playing Final Fantasy VII, this game definitely did it, and more so. The hype behind this game wasn't as big as Remake. Just because we had waited 10 years for, even more so, more than 10 years to see a Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake was such a meme at that point that it almost felt like it was never going to happen. It almost felt like it was a big joke. So the fact that it came out, and I still remember the day that we played it for the first time, and it was just like, oh my god, this is actually real. This game didn't have the same hype or expectation. The only real expectation for this game was just, hopefully it's a really good game. It didn't have the same, wasn't holding the same weight of, it has to be the thing that we all want. And I think that helped it out a lot. I think that Remake got a lot of unnecessary criticism because we waited so long for it that we just needed everything to be perfect. Oh, President has to die in his chair, everything has to be perfect, that as soon as we saw any kind of like flaw or any kind of change in the story, it was like everyone was getting upset, right? And I hope that a lot of people were willing to check that at the door this time and just play this game as a video game. Unfortunately, I think that a lot of people have not. I think a lot of people still hold a grudge from Remake and have this strange idea in their head that this game has to be the original, when it is not. It's a remake, and it's called Remake, and it's always been called Remake. At this point, it's not even called Remake, it's called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, I mean, it's not trying to be original Final Fantasy VII. It's just not. Now, given that it's telling the story of the original game, it should certainly be faithful, but it does not have to be the original game in any way, shape, or form. It does not have to, no one should be approaching this game like, oh, we didn't get the scene where Aerith gets laid in the water, or we didn't get this exact thing, therefore bad. It's not bad, it's just something that you want. Like you want to have those things, but that doesn't make it a bad game in any way, shape, or form. It's not, Square didn't come out and say, this is going to be a one-to-one to the original. Quite the opposite. They always said it was going to be different. So, I just want people to keep that in mind. You can have your opinions of what you want in the game and what you don't want in the game, but it doesn't make it a bad game. I would not, it doesn't lower the number you should give it at the end of the day because it doesn't have a scene that you like, because they never promised it would be the original, Ever since the beginning of Remake being made, they've always said it was going to be different. So I just wish people would stop saying it's a bad game, or that it ruins the series or ruins the moment for the fans, or they hate the fans, or Nomura hates the fans, or, you know, because it's just not, I mean, it's never been that, you know? It's never supposed to be that way. The Steam version of Final Fantasy VII, you know, that's the original game, but it looks better. If that game was missing a scene, yes, you'd have the right to be upset. Now, having said that, this game should be faithful to the original story, given that that's the story it's telling. And I think for the most part, this game was faithful. There were a few things, very few things that I commented throughout this game where I was like, yeah, they could have done this better, or this could have been closer to the original, or whatever. The one that stands out to me the most is the weight of Aerith's death. I think is a tough one in this game. They wanted to set it up for the third game, so that makes sense, but at the same time, that's such a pivotal part of the story, and it does feel like it struggles a bit. But that's really the only thing I can really point at and say, like, yeah, that's what I'm missing that from the original. Everything else, every other change really felt like there was a lot of purpose and design behind it. Every little change with the dying scene, every little change with Cloud and Tifa's relationship, it all felt like it had a reason to be there, either because this is a longer game, because there's another part coming after this, because it's a game in 2024 and that's just what it needs to have. You know, whatever it was for that scene, it always felt like there was a reason for it to be changed. So I really don't have any issues with any of the changes or detours from the original story. And any of the detours that I do find a small problem with, I am allowing them to do that and cook for the third game, because I think it will all come to a head in the third game. And, you know, enjoy it. We can enjoy it then. So maybe when part 3 comes out, I can look back at part 2 and say, like, you know what, they didn't really need to make that change. Like, why did they make that change? Because it didn't end up mattering in part 3, right? We can come back and have those discussions. But for now, I'm giving them the faith. I'm putting the faith in them that any changes they made here are because they want to make a better third part. So that's kind of how I feel about that. As a video game itself, this game is remarkable. This game truly shows what you can do when you actually have the engine all figured out. You have the time to just put into making content. You're not worried about making it the next greatest engine or the next greatest, you know, graphics, and you can just sit and make a good game. And the cutscenes in this game looked amazing. I mean, they looked incredible, but everything else felt like it was remake quality, maybe slightly better in some places and slightly worse in other places. But this is what happens when you don't focus on trying to sell a console and instead just make a good game. They gave themselves the room to breathe and to create this game. It's not like Final Fantasy 16, where it feels like they were trying to make this big epic thing that they could sell and make money on. This felt like they didn't release it until it was done. And it took them 4 years, and they said, guys, it's going to take us 4 years, and they took 4 years and they made it. And this is like what happens when they actually make a good game. So I just give them so much credit for allowing the team to create an amazing game. And it's like I said, if you actually take the time to make a good game, people are gonna have faith in Square Enix for years to come because of this game. Even if in the end maybe they lost money, it took them 4 years to make it, and they obviously put a ton of work into it, so maybe at the end of the day they lose money. But the faith that we're gonna have in Square Enix moving forward is gonna be so worth it. And the amount of people that are gonna play this and immediately pre-order part 3, you know, it's going to be worth it in the end, I hope. The I could have never imagined how open this game was, you know? I could have never imagined. I truly thought it was going to be remake structured, where you just go through missions, but then certain missions would have open sections. That's what I thought going in. Until I played the demo, that's what I thought the game was going to be. So to see that not only do we have these open sections, but they all connect into one world, and like that moment that you get on the tiny Bronco and you realize you can just swim to wherever you want to go, and it's all connected and it's all open, and you can walk out of Calm and walk all the way across to the farm, and then walk all the way to the ocean and get in the tiny Bronco and cruise all the way to Costa del Sol, and none of that loads. It's insane. It's actually insane. So I couldn't be any more excited for part 3 now, because it shouldn't be much of an ask to turn this into just being able to fly wherever we want to go. I almost feel like they could have done it here, but they're saving it for part 3 in a way, you know? Like, I feel like it would be possible here, because it is all open. Like, you can stand on the top of Cosmo Canyon and look down and see stuff rendered in, you know? Like, it's all here. So I genuinely think with what they have right now, they could have had us fly. They just chose not to. And obviously you'd be like, yeah, but you could have just had like flying over and stuff not render in, and that would have been like easy. But, well, quote unquote easy. I say that, I'm not a game developer, but you know what I mean. But yeah, man, to think that Rebirth was almost just a test run for this, and then this is just a test run for part 3, like, holy moly. What is part 3 gonna be? I think that the combat in this game truly blew me away as well, because I thought that just remake again wouldn't work. And apparently they thought that too, because although they kept it similar, and you know, if you played remake, you'll feel at home with this combat, they added enough that not only just adds on top, but integrates into what remake already made. That's the important part. If it just was like, oh, it's remake, but now you have these extra abilities, it wouldn't have really felt like it. It would have just felt like remake again, you know? But the fact that the synergy abilities integrate into the combat systems, where like you can use your ATB to gain ATB charges, to use a synergy attack, to give yourself maximum infinite MP, to buff up your party, to then use your ATB skills, to then get more charges to use another synergy ability. Like, it all fits nicely within. It's not just this extra on top. It's not just we're doing the same thing we were doing in remake, but then we get this super ability or something, you know? Just, that's absolutely genius. And it's so genius that I don't even know how they're going to top it in part 3. I don't know how they're going to take this and add more to it without it just being like, oh, now you get super limits, or, you know, now you just get this other bigger thing, right? Like, how are they going to implement something else to switch it up in part 3? Other than having just like Sid and Vincent there and maybe triple synergy attacks or something, but yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do for part 3. I genuinely think we're hitting the peak of like what this combat system can do. I think anything more would be overcomplicating it, but who knows what they come up with. Again, I'm trusting them to come up with something that'll work. Maybe even mid-party switching, yeah. Maybe even some like, almost like Tekken Tag tournament. You tag people in, you know? Do like a synergy move that sends somebody out and brings somebody in. It seems like, you know, for me, I kept my materia on the people I was using. But it seems like a lot of you guys kept everyone set up with materia. So perhaps we implement that into part 3, and it's more required to have everyone with materia, and then you're constantly switching out characters, you know. And man, I feel like that could work even better if we limited the amount of materia you got too. They already limited materia quite a bit in this game. We still only have one magnify materia, which I don't know how you guys kept everyone juiced with only one magnify materia. Did you move your magnify materia to the people you are currently using at least? Because you only get one. And there's only the one enemy skill as well. And a lot of the other materia felt like there was only one. I'm just talking up to this point, Tim. Like, I mean, I've done everything in terms of like the big, you know, the story, the proto relics, and the Queen's Blood. And I only have one. So I would imagine a lot of other people probably only have one, maybe two. I should have two. Okay, so there's probably a side quest I missed somewhere. So at this point, you'd have either one or two. Point is, you have a limited amount of magnify. That was the only point I was making. So I wonder if they limited more stuff in part 3, like even elements or something, you know, to where you need to switch in people. That could be something, but regardless, I do just give them so much credit for making this work and making it not just remake again and giving it a new breath of life. And I look forward to seeing what they do in part 3. Then there's the music, which, holy crap, I thought they couldn't top remake. Good lord. Remake is like kindergarten versus this game. It's insane. The music in this game is on a whole different level, but more than that, the sound design is on just an insane level that I've never seen before. Every single moment of the game, something is hitting when someone says something, or you get control back, or there's a moment in a cutscene. It's always hitting some part of the music, and it almost took that moment in the original where the main theme hits during the climax and multiplied it by 1,000, and instead it's every moment of the game doing that. And don't get me wrong, games have done that before. It's not like I've never played a game before where the music lined up with a moment in the story or in the cutscene, but I've never seen a game do it like it does in this game. I mean, like, the amount of different times I heard Aerith's theme, you know, there had to have been at least 20 different moments where a different song was playing, but Aerith's theme was woven into the song right when Aerith popped up on screen, you know? Like, there's gotta be double-digit times that happened with every character. You know, we're in the final boss, and suddenly we're just hearing a bit of Aerith's theme in there right when it switches over to Aerith, and they were able to do that with so many different cutscenes and songs. I mean, I don't even understand how they must have done the music last, because the amount of songs that they had to write but then put that in the music right at the right time. You know, they had to have done the music very last in order for that to work. It's remarkable. And then just all the other little details as well, like whenever a scene happens, it lets the music play afterwards, even though some other music should be playing. The way that the battle music and field music blend into each other perfectly, which many games do that, but this one especially did that. Yeah, I mean, the music felt so alive in this game. And then the music itself. I mean, this is freaking a Disney song. The Genova themes, all the battle themes. Every single boss had a different boss theme. I was looking at some of the songs that were uploaded on YouTube the other day, and there are several songs that are just for a basic battle, a specific basic battle, like the first time you fight one of the bird enemies during the flashback. That one has a specific theme. The first time you fight an Alpha Dunk is a specific theme. Like, it's just, they had a theme for everything. Pretty much all the unique fights all have their own themes. All the bosses all have their own themes. Most of the music wasn't even reused. There were a couple that I noticed that were reused, like the Wu Tai boss theme when you fight Bottom Swell, but that was very much warranted and amazing, because that song's amazing. The Turks had like a Rude Elena song, and then another Rude Elena song, and then an Elena sung song. They had like different songs for each fight and like scene. Which, man, that Elena sung song is so good. Yeah, so I mean, I just can't even say enough about the music and the sound design. Only issue is that the balancing in the cutscenes, which you can change in the menu, but it's not very intuitive to do so. So I hope they at some point just fix that, because it shouldn't be that hard of a fix. Not really sure how they didn't fix it before it released, but this game's so massive that, like, I'm not that shocked that they missed something like that, but hopefully they do fix that. I don't know, anything else? Anything else in terms of... I just loved it, man. I loved it, and I've never felt more invested in a game. Like, I desperately want to just jump in and start doing post-game stuff and just collecting everything and seeing what else there is. And I'm, what, 100 hours in? I'm 98 hours in, and I just can't help but feel like I have just started. So that's remarkable. For a $70 game, you know, leave it to Square. Remake felt like one of the best bang for your bucks in terms of a $60 game, and this game felt like one of the biggest bang for your bucks in terms of a $70 game. This may be the first $70 game I've bought that felt like a $70 game, minus maybe Elden Ring. So, yeah. It's not only good for us, but it's impressive in terms of a video game. So I have nothing but high praise for this game. Sure, there were a few things here and there that I had criticisms for. I don't think there was a single thing that I necessarily like hated or really disliked. Just little criticisms, as I would have for any game. No game is perfect. But I think as a product for the Final Fantasy VII fans, it's just as good, if not better, than Remake. It took every scene that it could and either told it as it was originally told or enhanced it. And it also added some stuff so that us, the original fans of the game, could be on our toes and not know exactly what was going to happen. So 10 out of 10 in terms of, you know, doing what the fans wanted. I know that there are some fans out there that are like, don't want any changes. But in terms of making the most amount of fans happy, I think they knocked it out of the park. There's a small section of fans that don't want any changes, and there's a small amount of fans that want a lot of changes, and there's a big section of fans that want basically them to just be faithful. And I think that they nailed the biggest amount of, they're going to make the most amount of people happy with the changes they made. And that's what's important, because you're never going to make everyone happy. If you're one of those people that dislike what they did, that's perfectly valid. But I think in terms of video game development, they did the best they could to make the most amount of people happy. So I feel like you can't ask for anything more. You can't ask them to make you happy if you're the extreme outlier that wanted, you know, a specific thing, right? You can't expect them to do that. You can be sad about it. You can be, you know, you can not buy the game because you didn't like it, but you can't ask them to bend over backwards for you and make everyone else angry, you know? So I think that 10 out of 10 in terms of being faithful. And then as a video game, I mean, geez, dude, I had some criticisms, but nothing really major. So I find it hard to not say this is one of the best games I've ever played. One of the best, definitely PS5 games. But it's up there, man. It's up there in terms of just a great video game. So I'll have to think about it more as to what, like, number I would truly put it on. I don't really like giving games numbers anyways, but, you know, as it stands, it's definitely one of the best I've played. Definitely the best PS5 game I've played in terms of content and as a video game. Yeah, there's like some technical issues too, so we'll see if they fix them as well. If they fix some of the technical issues, that could definitely make it even better. And if they add to it, and who knows, if we do end up getting some like very simple DLC or some Queen's Blood editions or something, that'd be cool. Yeah, and maybe just the pacing, like there was that section where there was way too many minigames for a bit, and the story kind of went on a lull for a little bit, so like the pacing maybe you could say, but they were a bit hands tied behind their back, because if they had tried to fix the pacing, they would have had to really change the organization of the events, so it may not have been worth it to do that. Is this one of the best sequels of all time? As a sequel, it's definitely up there, because the mechanics feel like they fit in with the original, but they just enhanced them. And taking the linearity of the remake and turning it into this open world adventure, I mean, that's so impressive. Like, if we take Final Fantasy VII out of this and just say, like, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake was King's Quest 1 and this is King's Quest 2, how did it do as a sequel? Like, man, just all the things they added. All the things they added in terms of being an open world, in terms of the mechanics of the fights, in terms of the new characters, in terms of the music being just so much bigger. I think the only thing they truly didn't improve on were the graphics. I think the graphics in some places look better, in some places look worse. Obviously, that's because this is such a bigger game, but just saying, like, looking at it on its own, other than the cutscenes looking quite a bit better, the ones that are pre-rendered, I would say the graphics aren't visibly better. But that's it. Other than that, everything's improved. Everything's improved. Maybe you could say the pacing is a bit worse in terms of like that middle section of the game. But that's only lore wise, that's only story wise, because gameplay wise, this game's never boring. It's never boring. It's always throwing new stuff at you. It's always, here's this new mini game you haven't played yet. Here's this new enemy you haven't fought yet. Here's this new twist in the story here. I mean, it's never boring. Only time I ever felt like I was getting kind of things were getting drawn out was during Costa del Sol, but that was only the mini games. The game itself was still fun. Story was still interesting. It was still funny. I was still having fun. It's just I was ready to do something different. That's literally it. That's the only time I can think of. Other than that, it was constant. Something was going on. Something new was happening. I have a new character to play with. I have a new mini game to play. I have a new ability to try out. I have a new twist in the story to think about, you know? So, and if there's a specific thing that you like to do, you can always just go do it also, you know? So, yeah, man. Overall, just an amazing game, an amazing experience, experiencing it with you guys, like I said. it felt similar to playing Remake all over again, where we got to just enjoy these moments together, and I really appreciate that, and appreciate you guys being here for that. And I guess that's all I have to say. So, thanks again for being with me on this journey. It's time to say goodbye to YouTube. Again, hard mode playthrough VODs might just go up on the Patreon if you're interested. Any other spectacular highlights will be on YouTube, so don't worry, you won't miss those. And you can also check out the hard playthrough VODs for free on Twitch for the next couple of months if you'd rather do that than jump over to the Patreon. And yeah, I hope you enjoy playing the game for the next however long it takes you to finish it. We'll be playing it every day, working on finishing it, working on post-game stuff, and seeing what crazy stuff we can do with the game. So thank you again for everything. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.